Welcome to the district. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Vice Chair Natalie Hall. Today, I will be showcasing the Connect Cooperative, a jewel to the entrepreneurs in the Westview community. The Connect is an intentional and equitable space that allows established legacy businesses, startup concepts, and micro pop-ups to occupy a cooperative space that fosters business, education, and growth. Joining me today is Kyomi Rollins, founder and director of the Connect Cooperative. She's here to discuss how the Connect is helping to mitigate economic genocide in Atlanta's Southwest neighborhoods. We have a great show planned today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the district. We have a great show planned today. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Vice Chair Natalie Hall. Joining us today is Kyomi Rollins, founder and director of the Connect. Kyomi, welcome to the district.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair Hall. It's a great opportunity to be able to hang out with you guys today on the district virtually. So thank you for the invitation.
And I'm so glad to have you here. Can you share with the listening audience what is the Connect Cooperative?
Absolutely. I mean, you did an amazing introduction. I think I forgot some of the things that we actually had in our press clippings. So you did an amazing job. But the Connect is a community-driven solution that was birthed out of the desire for us to be able to create a space where we could kind of offset the impact of displacement, gentrification that is happening in our community. So with the great development that is happening in Atlanta, we're just seeing the result of just rising rental costs and legacy community businesses that are vanishing. And so the Connect was our opportunity to be able to act on it and to be able to do something and have the community drive that solution in terms of what we need for our legacy business owners in the community.
Well, how can cooperatives or non-traditional business models sustain our local economy?
So I think one of the beautiful things about legacy Black-owned businesses, mom and pop spaces is that they are the original social impact businesses, right? So these are the main businesses that are contributing to the local T-ball league, hiring from within the neighborhood, making sure that when the babies are walking home from school and passing that restaurant, that we're making sure that those kids are eating, even though that might not be the best business practice, but no one goes hungry, right? And so I think we could look at it now as businesses that actually have brick and mortar spaces, especially now with the pandemic, rising rental costs. Madam Chair, you all in Fulton County have done a great job with some of the moratoriums for residential and housing rent. But we do know that there are commercial tenants that are struggling. And so we're looking at ways that they could maybe utilize a cooperative, having a shared space. If you're a food business, you may want to think about opening up your space, sharing it with some other foodpreneurs, such as food trucks, things of that nature. Also, for some of the legacy businesses that are in our community that have been there for a very long time, but still you want to maintain that space, you can look at a cooperative as actually offering some of that equity to your employees and to your staff. Some of the beautiful things that I recognize within Weston and Westview is that you have those same beautiful employees that have been at Q time, scrambling those eggs, making those pancakes, for years. So you may want to look at, if you're a legacy business, considering to offering some of that equity into those employees and making it an employee owned. So that way a business could look at retiring, but then also still having a foothold in the community and in the neighborhood and not having that amazing business disappear.
Wow, you just educated me on what a cooperative can be. I thought I knew, but it can be so much more than I ever thought. So, what kind of initiatives or what are some of the Connect's programming initiatives right now?
Well, I feel like when we've only had the space for 18 months. And so 18 months ago, we had no idea about the pandemic. We had no idea that we'd be here a year later, still wearing masks and things. And so our programming initially has always been rooted in technical assistance and support. As a business owner, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so we were heavily focused on education, making sure that businesses were kind of financial paperwork ready for things, making sure that businesses stayed on top on a lot of just technical things, such as hardware, digital stuff, right? Because businesses now are all online. And so initially, that's what our desire was and has been. For 10 years prior, we actually have a cooperative economic summit called Ujama Fest that has always been our focus on Black legacy, Black owned businesses. And so our programming now has kind of shifted to just sustaining businesses, making sure that a business can see what their pathway is beyond the pandemic. How does a business shift? How does a mom and pop business pivot to being online? How can you partner with other businesses? How can you partner with some of the delivery platforms such as Uber and Postmates? We actually last summer, initially, I think in season 2 of the pandemic, as I call all the months of the pandemic, initially we had heard from some of our businesses that it was a challenge for them to onboard onto Uber Eats and some delivery platforms because of the fees. And so one of the programs I'm really most proud of is that we were able to immediately pivot to hiring youth within the neighborhood. We bought bikes and the kids actually ran delivery services within 5 miles of the Connect, which ended up being Weston, Westview, a little bit of Cascade. And so the youth were able to actually learn to have a business and run it. The businesses that were inside the Connect were actually able to kind of circumvent those fees, and everything again done in a cooperative spirit, right? So our initiatives that we have are revolving around programming. We're getting ready to build out the space to be able to make it so that some of the businesses can have more of a permanent space, more full-time. Last year, we were only operating for businesses on the weekend. And so we're now working around the clock right now for us to shift to a more kind of full-time basis and looking for us to be open back up officially in June with businesses being there. But the businesses are going to receive technical support, some website support, some training. We're actually going to have ongoing mental health support. Any of you all watching this that are entrepreneurs, you know that we are all, a little touch there, right? But we do understand the impact of the mental health part, not only just having a business, not only being a Black-owned business in a gentrifying community, but then also trying to still make a way during the pandemic. And so being a part of this cooperative will be a little different for businesses there because our focus will be on the holistic wraparound support for the success of the business.
Well, Kyomi, thank you for reminding us that, there is a greater need now that we are experiencing COVID-19, and it's having a negative impact on our small businesses, but also the large businesses are being hurt too. And there's still a need for assistance just across the board. And the Connect Cooperative is doing such a great job in covering this for everyone. And thank you also for mentioning mental health because we are seeing the impact that COVID-19 is having on individuals because of, we really do need to shelter in place more than less. And even when we are not sheltering in place, we still have to follow some key rules and regulations to keep ourselves and others safe. So I appreciate everything that you've said. So let's take a quick break, and when we return, we will discuss the Connect's impact in the Westview community and beyond. We'll be right back, so stay with us. Welcome back to the district. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Vice Chair Natalie Hall. Today, we're discussing the Connect Cooperative with founder and director Kyomi Rollins. Kyomi, where is the Connect Cooperative located?
We are honored to be located right in the historical community of Westview. I actually live 2 streets over from the Connect. So not only am I a part of this amazing movement, this amazing cooperative, but I actually live right inside the neighborhood.
That is awesome because when you have an owner that lives in the community, that makes it much easier for you to connect with the people in that community. So,
Absolutely.
how was Westview selected to be the home for the Connect? Is it because you live there, or did you just see the
Absolutely.
need?
I always tell people, we moved here about 12 years ago. No idea about the Beltline. It wasn't even a thing. I wasn't even really involved with community in terms of Westview and West End. And I would say community in terms of civically things, how I'm involved now. We literally just moved here 12 years ago because it was affordable. My husband does production work, and so it was a lot easier for him. And primarily his work was over at the stadium with NFL, sports. So we literally just moved to the neighborhood because I just wanted to be around beautiful older Black folks. And the first time that we came to the community, I loved the street. And as soon as we pulled up to look at our house, our neighbor, Mr. Jim, who's still our neighbor now, came out and just, introduced himself and told us what we were and what we were not going to do on his street, that he has lived there for the past 40 something years. And we were just instantly in love. And so, and at the time, I still had a business, but our business was in Lithonia. We were going back and forth. And so we had the opportunity about 8 years ago to be able to shift our business to Westview. And I just don't see any other place that we could be doing what we're doing. We have the opportunity to be able to build amazing civic relationships with amazing people such as yourself. There's the time that my children were in elementary school, my daughter could literally walk from school over to our shop before we went home. And so it has allowed us the space to be able to have a very centralized type of existence within our community. I could walk, I could ride a bike. Like I said, my children at one point could walk from school. When their after school activities existed or they were doing after school activities, it could be very easily that someone from Miss D's restaurant, I could order food and I could have someone run the food over to the school. And so the importance of selecting this particular neighborhood also is rooted in all the development that is happening. There was conversation and interest around the development at Western Mall, the Kroger and Cascade, has sold, and everything that has been bought, every piece of commercial property, we're still missing this conversation around what happens to legacy businesses. And so, and within our community, because I just don't believe that we should just be excited about the Beltline, be excited about the mall, be excited about the development at the Kroger at Cascade, but still don't know where we're going to get our lemon pepper wings wet, fried hard, right? So I think that's one of those things that as we were looking at why is it important to be in the neighborhood, it's just important to have those pieces that are just a core culture of communities. And so one of the beautiful things about Atlanta is the West End, Westview, the AUC. So coming down here in the 90s, this was always the hub of what I knew Atlanta to be. I didn't know Atlanta to be, no shade. I didn't know Atlanta to be Midtown. I knew Atlanta to me, the Atlanta without the T, Southwest Atlanta. This is the hub and this is the culture. And so we've been here for a very long time, but where we are placed is in our community. And what better representation to have for your community, for young folks, to be able to see that we have this opportunity, this success of being, serial entrepreneurs, and we didn't leave the neighborhood. We stayed right here. And so I think that is in the spirit of everything great that makes, Atlanta, but then also in the spirit of amazing Black Wall Street. I still believe in my heart, from how MLK does that view, or from like Weston, coming down Abernathy, going through RDA, going back up to MLK. That's our Black Wall Street that we have right now. I don't know if I answered the question. I started to ramble right there. My apologies.
You absolutely did answer the questions. Yes, and you touched on something that I want you to expand on. You talked about how the location kind of it's fluid with your family, with what you and your husband do and raising your children and everything, but how else does the location impact the business?
The location impacts the business. We know that with development happening, the reality is where the Connect sits really might be the only place in a few years that you'll be able to come and see mom and pop legacy businesses. There is nothing that says to a developer when a lease ends that you have to retain that business. There's nothing right now that is in place that says that when a legacy business, their lease ends and when that rent increases, there's nothing we have to be able to protect, that legacy business owner. So it's so important and super vital that we have something right here within our community. And the location is key because I feel like we're lacking that conversation and strategy about what's going to happen. So it's beautiful, all these amazing buildings, are coming up, but it is how does that development be inclusive? And so I think the Connect location is important, centered to the Beltline, proximity to it, but yet a space that we could still say that we're here and that we're going to exist and that we're not going anywhere.
Yes, yes. I love that you said, other developers, other locations, they don't necessarily have to allow the mom and pops to stay there and continue to lease space there. But you and your husband and the Connect Cooperative building will allow such a relationship to foster that in the community. And that is so needed.
Yeah,
So, Kyomi, thank you. Let's take another break and we'll return
sure.
shortly. Welcome back to the district. If you're just joining us, I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Vice Chair Natalie Hall, here with founder and director of the Connect Cooperative, Kyomi Rollins. So tell us, how has COVID-19 impacted the Connect Cooperative?
It has impacted us. The one thing I said at the top of the show is when we acquired the space, we had no idea about COVID. We just thought we'd already be open. I thought you all were to come by and hang out, grab some wine, some coffee, shop with us. It impacted us that we immediately kind of became, I think, this triage to businesses. Literally putting, I feel like, Band-Aids over bullet wounds. And what I mean by that is because we have this long-standing relationship with a lot of businesses in the community, when they needed help, I feel like because we're a culturally relevant solution, initially it was first like, hey, we need help with these PPE applications, right? Maybe their devices, some of the businesses didn't necessarily have laptops. So there was a huge amount of time spent gathering laptops from folks, trying to type things up, trying to help understand what that application was. Then it was some businesses who did get displaced. So then it was immediately, what do we do with your inventory? Can we talk you through closing your business? Is there another business you can kind of partner with? And then businesses that got displaced, it was immediately, okay, we need to try and get you all partner up, with another business. And so I felt like everything was just kind of knee jerk, knee jerk, knee jerk. And then it became, all right, we got this space, it's empty. Yes, we know we wanted to do this development. Let's just jump on curbside right now, right? So on Saturdays and Sundays, we offered businesses to be able to come set up and merchandise and sell their wares, but it was also attached to technical assistance. So we taught businesses how to get their things up online, how to start a website. And we had some real conversations like bare bones budget. How can you get this started up and going and operated? Even training about COVID, that was something. Because we actually had to be able to teach the culture of, some folks who did not want to wear a mask and coming into the space. And I feel like during COVID, it just kind of escalated. At first, we were kind of like, oh, COVID is here. Then it was like, maybe you should wear a mask. And then it was like, oh, no, you should wear a mask, right? And then having to battle as small business owners with a lot of inventory and supplies that were out of stock because we were battling against big corporations. And so we started doing bulk buys within the businesses. to be able to help us all have some type of PPE equipment. And so the last 18 months, I feel like has been a blur. We have been officially closed for the month of January, but I say that to folks because we have been busting our butt all of last year. There were no days off, and we were learning as we were going, right? And so the question was, what have we been doing? It has been a lot, and it's been on a totally grassroots effort led by a great group of community people. But we are in that space that for us to be able, we've done lots of great things, bare bones, minimum budget, and the need is even greater than it was a year ago.
Wow, I'm so glad to hear that. You know, when you mentioned about the PPEs and the need for them, I've always wondered if there was such a need because I try to offer the PPEs and out in the community for free. And I know that so many people out in the community need them, but to hear someone actually mention that, I appreciate that. And I had the pleasure of participating in the food giveaway and everything just recently with you. So I know the Connect Cooperative is doing that sort of movement of giving away, and it was up to 40,000 pounds of free food. And and I want to give thanks to Fulton County's Cooperative Extension because they provided 150 bags of fresh fruits and vegetables to add to
Yes,
that food.
yes.
But I know we've done that together, but what are some of the future plans for the Connect Cooperative?
As I said, we're building out this space, and so I'm super excited about that. But then also we're developing our programming for what does it look like to be a cooperative member. On I think the administrative side, we're laying things out because our plan in the next 5 years is for the space to be 100% completely community owned. To be able to allow legacy residents and community folks to actually have equity in a space. And so we're doing a lot. So the future plans build out, hopefully we'll get the district back over in June to be a part of our opening in June. Cooperatives, everyone thinks this is kind of like a new concept and they think about it in the spirit of grocery stores, right? We have Sevenanda, which is a long running grocery store. However, you look at W. Du Bois, Black History Month, the American Negro Report, right here in Atlanta, this report was kind of based on. We had 163 cooperatives that existed, with the majority of them being Black women led. And so cooperatives are in our DNA, right? Our success is by us working together. And so we're hoping to be able to spend the next year really honing in on that message and that mission.
Well, Kyomi, you've provided us with some outstanding information. Thank you so much for joining us today. And when we return, I will share my closing thoughts. Welcome back to the district. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Vice Chair Natalie Hall. Today, we discussed how the Connect Cooperative continues working collectively with residents and businesses to build a reparative economic system. The Connect Cooperative provides a grassroots economic reparative intervention plan that includes community-led cooperative small business development and training that helps people to generate and enjoy wealth together. It was a pleasure to partner with the Connect Cooperative and Atlanta Social Change to distribute 4,000 pounds of food to 4,000 families in the Westview community and surrounding neighborhoods. A special thanks to Fulton County Cooperative Extension for providing 150 fresh produce bags. I definitely look forward to continuing to partner with the Connect Cooperative and serving the Westview community. Thank you, founder and director of the Connect Cooperative, Kyomi Rollins, for the helpful information you provided us today. And that's our show. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Vice Chair Natalie Hall. Please stay updated on the county's response to COVID-19 via the county's website at fultoncountyga.gov. You can also follow me at FulcoD4, that's FULCOD and the number 4, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget, while you're in public, wear a mask, wash your hands, and stay 6 feet apart. Until next time, stay safe, and thank you for watching the district.